interview series of Galileo TV. We are here at Mostra Convegno 26 with Aya El Azhari. Thank you so much, Aya, for being with us today, for moderating the first session of our conference. And Aya is policy manager from EPEE. So welcome, Aya.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity. Very well organized, so thanks for that.
Thank you, we're pleased. And we're pleased with your contribution. And indeed, I wanted to profit from your presence by asking for a quick overview of the topic of your presentation, which is really interesting, and indeed also for the public who couldn't join the conference.
Yeah. Okay, so the presentation I gave, it's focused on three core elements of the presentation. So the first is basically what are the implementation elements that we are working on? How do we perceive the implementation of the EU F-gas regulation? How we're working on interpretation elements? And things like that. So anything that has to do with implementation, I've just given a few examples on there. Then the second point of the presentation was on the market transition. So on that, I have given a bit the outcome of an annual study that we work on within EPEE, which is the Market Insights report. And with that, we see a bit the transition of the refrigerants, the transition also of the whole markets, the REC HP markets, following the EU F-gas regulation. And so what we've noticed is that for certain applications, the transition is easier than for others. For example, for monoblocks, we know that the transition is very possible. The industry has already started implementing it. But for other ones, it seems to be more challenging. Like, for example, for air-to-water, air-to-air splits. For these, we noticed that it's very hard, and especially because the timeline of the bans comes for 2027 for air-to-water and for 2028 or 9 for air-to-air. So we try to raise awareness about how certain elements and certain bans are very challenging for the industry, and we're trying to find solutions for the transition of that. And then finally, sorry, it's quite long. The last element is just to ask basically a coherent policy framework within the EU. So to take on board all of the elements like the EU F-gas regulation, the PFAS proposal, and also the energy efficiency, affordability, safety, all these elements, they may appear small and we focus on them from a silo perspective. And we urge authorities, stakeholders, policymakers to look at it from a more comprehensive perspective, to have a bit the bigger picture.
But you anticipated my question because I wanted to dig into this topic. So I will just make another one since I have you here.
Yeah.
Your role as EPEE is gigantic in our sector. And so I wanted to ask, what is the opinion of EPEE on the training and on the importance of training and certification for our sector?
Yeah. We believe it is very, very, very important, because if we do not have enough training and enough people who are well trained on the ground, the transition cannot be possible. So we believe it's very important. We're very, very grateful for other associations like you who do that on the ground, on the national level, because we try to promote that idea on the European level, but we can't do that without associations like yours that also do the work on the ground level at the national level. So thanks for that, and we believe it's very crucial. Yeah, if we don't have enough good installers, then we cannot move forward with the transition. So yeah,
that's very well said. Thank you very much, Aya.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.